There's a point where life takes everything from you, your home, your dignity, even your hope. Most people never come back from that, but one man did. And the way he did it will change the way you see money and yourself forever. Make sure you watch this video to the end. Like, comment, subscribe, or share. His name is Daniel Carter. He is 31 years old. Once a warehouse worker with a small apartment and a simple life, until a layoff took it all. Within 6 months, his savings vanished, his rent overdue, and his car repossessed. He found himself with $0 in his account, $17,000 in debt, and no one willing to co-sign another chance. Days blurred into weeks. Nights were colder than the air outside. He rotated between a shelter and an old friend's couch, never staying long enough to be a burden. Every morning, he woke up to the sound of other people rushing to jobs, while his own phone stayed silent. No offers. No interviews. Just silence. This wasn't just poverty of money, it was the poverty of the mind. The kind where you stop believing tomorrow will be better because too many yesterdays have proven otherwise. One night, Daniel was sitting in a 24-hour diner nursing a $2 cup of coffee. He overheard two construction workers at the next table. They weren't talking about sports. They were talking about money. About how a man they knew had flipped a small, beat-up property and walked away with $30,000 in profit. $30,000. To Daniel, that number was unreal, but it was also magnetic. It was the first time in months he'd felt awake. That night, he made a list. Not of debts. Not of things to buy. A list of what he would no longer tolerate ever again. At the top, in bold letters, I will never be broke again. That night was the hinge his life would swing on. Make sure you watch this video to the end. Like, comment, subscribe, or share. Daniel didn't start with a business loan. He didn't have an investor. He started with hustle. Odd jobs, temp work, unloading trucks for $12 an hour. He saved every single dollar he could, treating money like soldiers in a war at each one sent to capture more territory. 3 months in, he had $1,000. Most people would have spent it. Daniel used it to buy tools and help a small contractor friend with renovations. He wasn't just earning money. He was learning a skill. 6 months later, he built up $4,000 and enough know-how to take on his own small jobs. By the end of year 1, Daniel had cleared his debt down to $6,000 and had $9,800 saved. In year 2, he flipped his first tiny property, a rundown shed of a house, for a $14,000 profit. That was the spark. One flip became 2, then 3. The numbers grew. $10,000 became $25,000. $25,000 became $60,000. And soon, the 6-figure mark fell. $104,000 in his account. He didn't stop. Every win was reinvested. Every dollar was given a job. While others chased quick luxuries, Daniel chased freedom. 5 years after that night in the diner, Daniel stood in the doorway of a home he now owned debt-free. His portfolio was worth over $1.4 million. But here's the truth. The real treasure wasn't in the bank. It was in the man he had become. Disciplined. Strategic. Relentless. Financial freedom isn't a miracle. It's a decision backed by sacrifice, patience, and the refusal to quit. Most people wait for the right time. Daniel proved the right time is the moment you decide. But Daniel's story isn't just about numbers. It's about the transformation of a man who refused to let circumstances define him. It's about the power of a single decision to change the course of a life. Remember that night in the diner, when Daniel overheard those construction workers? That wasn't luck. That was opportunity meeting preparation. Daniel had hit rock bottom, but he hadn't stopped listening, hadn't stopped hoping for a way out. And when that tiny spark of hope appeared, he didn't just let it flicker. He fanned it into a flame. He took that overheard conversation and turned it into a roadmap for his future. Think about it. How many of us have overheard similar conversations? How many of us have stumbled upon opportunities that could change our lives? But how many of us actually act on them? Daniel did. And that's what sets him apart. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for the perfect moment. He started right where he was, with what he had. Those first few months were brutal. Imagine working your fingers to the bone, day in and day out, for just $12 an hour. Most people would have given up. Most people would have said, "This isn't worth it." But Daniel saw something others didn't. He saw each dollar as a building block for his future. And that $1,000 he saved, that was his turning point. It would have been so easy to spend that money on something he needed. God knows he had plenty of needs. But Daniel had a vision that was bigger than his immediate comfort. He saw that $1,000 not as money to spend, but as seed to plant. By investing in tools and helping his contractor friend, Daniel wasn't just earning a wage. He was investing in himself. He was gaining skills that would pay dividends for years to come. He was laying the foundation for his future empire. And let's talk about that first property flip. A rundown shed of a house. Most people would have seen a money pit. Daniel saw potential. He saw what it could become, not what it was. And that vision, combined with the skills he'd learned and the work ethic he'd developed, turned that shed into a $14,000 profit. But here's the real secret to Daniel's success. He didn't stop there. He didn't take that $14,000 and treat himself to a vacation or a new car. No, he reinvested it. He used it to buy another property, and then another. Each flip was a lesson. Each profit was fuel for the next project. Daniel wasn't just building a real estate portfolio, he was building a machine that could generate wealth. And all the while, he was transforming himself. The Daniel who stood in the doorway of his debt-free home 5 years later wasn't the same man who had sat in that diner nursing a $2 coffee. This Daniel was confident, skilled, and unstoppable. But let's be clear, this transformation didn't happen overnight. It wasn't a miracle or a stroke of luck. It was the result of thousands of small decisions, made day after day, week after week, year after year. It was the decision to save instead of spend. The decision to learn instead of complain. The decision to invest instead of indulge. Each of these decisions, on its own, might seem small. But together, they created a momentum that was unstoppable. And that's the real lesson of Daniel's story. It's not about real estate or flipping houses. It's about the power of decision. The power of refusing to accept your circumstances as final. The power of believing in a better future, even when the present seems hopeless. Daniel's story proves that it doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter how far you've fallen. What matters is your decision to get back up, to keep moving forward, to never stop believing in the possibility of a better tomorrow. So ask yourself, what decision will you make today? What step will you take towards your own financial freedom? Will you let another day pass, waiting for the perfect moment? Or will you decide, right now, that today is the day you start building your own success story? Remember, financial freedom isn't a destination. It's a journey. And that journey begins with a single step, a single decision. Daniel took that step. He made that decision. And it changed his life forever. You have the same power within you. The power to decide. The power to change. The power to transform your life, just like Daniel did. So what are you waiting for? The time is now. Your future is waiting. Make the decision today that your future self will thank you for. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you watch this video to the end, like, comment, subscribe, or share. Your journey to financial freedom starts now.